This is Diego from World Championship Cinema, and you're watching Botchamania. World Championship Cinema, what the world is listening to. Alright, obviously you're not watching Botchamania, but in this episode, oh man, I don't want to make excuses, but I'm already doing it. We made a lot of botches reviewing the Iron Claw. I kept calling Mike Dave, and I'm so embarrassed. We kind of recorded a couple of days before I expected to, and after a 12-hour work day and a little bit of the devil's oregano, we just hit record. We did our best, so please forgive me. But while we're here, and speaking of Botchamania, I'm just gonna put our entry into a Botchamania ending. So, I don't know. Enjoy the episode. In doing research for this episode, I watched a match between Ric Flair and Mike Von Erich, and I knew that, and for some reason I did not bring it up in the podcast. So what I'm going to try to do is post a match from each brother, either in the comments section or in the description below. Like, I'm new to this, so I'm sorry. So all I can say is I messed up a lot in this episode, and I thank you guys for watching, and we'll try our best to do better in the future. Alright. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of World Championship Cinema. I'm your host, and with me is...
Patty Regan, man, of the Child Actors. I'm back. We're back on the couch.
We're back, baby.
The cat's asleep, though, this time. So, you don't gotta worry about Winks, Winks cameo.
Yeah, and the Winks...
Maybe in the credit, could we get Winks another credit?
Maybe.
Like that.
Like Hooper?
Yeah.
Riker, I mean.
Riker, Hooper. I was trying to remember his name. I figured you would. I was kind of betting on that, so it worked out. But yeah, no, great to be back. Great to be talking about flicks. Great to be talking about wrestling-related flicks. And
what movie are we reviewing tonight?
We are reviewing The Iron Claw, the story of the Von Erich family. So when this got announced, I'll be honest, I was kind of excited about it. I thought it was interesting. You would assume that like the Labs would be maybe like the Hart family, right? Mm-hmm. Who else could you really include there? Maybe the Guerreros, you know what I'm saying? You could do something like that. But this one, I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. So when I saw the cast, I was kind of surprised at the physical stature of the guys.
Yeah, because when they mentioned Zac Efron, like we're finishing the Zac Efron trilogy with this movie. I've never seen. I've heard of him, like figure High School Musical. So I always pictured him as this tiny little dude.
Yeah.
And the bear, like
Lip from Shameless. Uh-oh.
Yeah, the bear. He
the sandwich.
When they mentioned him, I'm like, he's not that big of a dude, right?
No, he's actually like 5'6", 5'7".
No way.
Yeah, dude, he's a short guy.
And he's a short guy. And Carrie's like a mountain of a man.
Yeah, Carrie was a very, very big, muscular, strong dude, and he got a decent shape for a guy his size. And Zac Efron, you could tell, might have been taking a gimmick or two, but. He had like that 80s Joe Piscopo jaw, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like the caveman jaw. Yeah. And it's like, buddy, what are you doing over there?
Yeah, word on the streets, that was like a car accident. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Like Carey was so big back then. Like
Carey
we
was
we literally thought that
was
we
huge.
thought that he replaced Ultimate Warrior.
yeah.
Because when Warrior came back, Texas Tornado was gone.
Yeah.
So like 1+1, Tornado out, Warrior out.
You would have thought, right? You would have thought that would have been likely the likely progression, but you know, he seemed to be a troubled guy. I think they captured that. I think they captured, you know, how the dad pushed them. You know,
Yeah, my favorite thing about the dad is when he had the countdown list. He's like, "Come on, David, you're number 4.
Yeah.
You guys know Carey's number 1."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was the best.
And I'm
That was
thinking
the best.
about implementing that in this podcast. I'm gonna be like, Pat, you're number 1. Lucy, you're number 2. Rich, you're number 3. But maybe Rich, if you keep it up, maybe you'll be number 2 or 3.
All right, Diego, no problem. I just wake up every morning, go jogging in short shorts with a headband. You know,
It's okay. Rich doesn't listen to the podcast, so we can say whatever.
Listening to
we want.
Rush.
Honestly, that montage of Rush, the Tom Sawyer montage,
It's pretty sick.
that got me hyped. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like, do I want to do some push-ups now?
Yeah. I think we got to talk about the elephant in the room. And before we talk about the elephant in the room, just want to shout out Spindrift here. Great lime tasting seltzers. If you're watching this, a rep from Spindrift. Anybody connected in the Spindrift community? Come on, give the show a sponsorship here. Give them a little money. We're sitting on a couch, right? We're back on the couch again. I forgot to mention
we're
that,
couching
right?
it up, yeah.
And I'm wearing the T-shirt of JD Vance's favorite band, Couch Slut. So, and before the show goes any further, we can assure you that this couch is gonna stay sat on. Nothing else is gonna go in it. Okay, so
That's for the Patreon.
yeah. But and OnlyFans, okay, and OnlyFans. There's eating pictures, hand modeling. Not safe for work hand modeling. But I think we need to talk about the elephant in the room, Ric Flair.
You mean Will Ferrell?
Not even. Will Ferrell would have been better. Will Ferrell would have been better, man. This Ric Flair was the absolute shits, man. He was the absolute shits. The absolute shits. Everybody else, I thought, looked the part. Like the Freebirds. The Freebirds looked like the Freebirds. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Ric Flair did not look like Ric Flair. Did not talk like Ric Flair. Did not sound like Ric Flair. Shame on that actor. Shame on whoever directed him and told him how to act. Because he did not capture the natured boy at all.
It's funny. That's like your biggest gripe, and it's like I'm thinking. I feel like it ties into my biggest gripe because that Ric Flair scene did go on for a pretty long time.
Yeah.
Like it was like a full blown Ric Flair promo, and I'm watching the promo,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, like, my biggest gripe is, even though his name is listed as executive producer in this movie, I feel like MJF was robbed. Because he played Lance, and maybe, I don't know, I gotta see the dailies to see how well he did. But
I mean, acting for wrestling and acting for a movie are two different types of things, but you'd think that he'd have a leg up because it's a wrestling movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah, but the thing is, all he did was just do babyface, whatever. Like, they should have dedicated 30 seconds to maybe a minute, if needed, to explain who he was.
Yeah.
Because right now, he's just some random guy tagging with a dejected Kevin Von Erich. That's who Zac Efron was, right? Kevin?
I think he was Kevin.
So when you see MJF as Lance Von Erich, there's no name drop. He's just random tag team partner to a dejected Zac Efron / Kevin Von Erich. And I feel like had they explained who he was, I feel like that might have explained a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's a little ham-fisted. I don't know. Like maybe explain a little bit more why David did what he did.
I think that's fair.
Because at that time, David's recovering from injury, and he's like, he knows he can't replace any of his brothers. So like, if you just explain who he is, I feel like that would have given whatever. And while we're talking about MJF, I'm just gonna go on record, and this is gonna be like very contradictory, but I feel like he's both overrated as a professional wrestler, and yet like a once in a lifetime talent. because it's like I feel like we all know he's overrated, but everyone just accepts like whatever. Like he just did the run. He just went to Mexico, with the American title, in which that storyline was taken beat from New Japan a year ago with Will Ospreay. But let's ignore that part. And so he goes to Mexico dressed like an all-American.
Yeah.
And the fans are busy like, oh my God, MJF's so crazy. He's, oh my God, brilliant. And I'm like, Eddie Guerrero and Art Barr did that like 20, 30 years ago.
Yep.
So it's like, all right, guys.
I mean, a lot of guys have done that throughout the years, period. You know what I mean? A lot of guys have been the American heel.
It's not that hard.
It's not anything new. I agree with you. And I think there's a theme there, I think, we're noticing with him. Look, at the end of the day, he's putting everything he can into himself. You can see, he's putting everything he can into himself. And he gets a lot of attention, and he's good for that. And he has a lot of potential to be something great, but hey, I could see him rubbing people the wrong way.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I think he's a great in-ring talent, but the thing my gripe is more with the fans.
He's a smart kid. He's a fucking smart kid.
Yeah.
You could tell he's a smart kid.
Yeah, I think that's my beef. It's not really with him as a person or as a worker, because I think he's a great worker. I just think the fans are just like pretending like he's innovative and pretending like he's breaking new ground. Like, no, he's just taking from the past what works and just recycling it for a modern era. He's not like, trying to think of revolutionary, like, obviously revolutionary, someone like Superstar Billy Graham or Gorgeous George.
Right.
Those guys broke new ground, But like, he's just doing what we've seen a million times in the past and just modernized it.
Yeah. I mean, that was the biggest thing that jumped out at me the first time I saw him. It was just like, I've seen this. You know what I mean? He's good at it, though. He's good at it, and his grasp of the fundamentals are fucking excellent. They're fucking great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the guy knows how to work. He knows how to work all different types of people. You know what I mean? And he makes it make sense.
Yeah.
He makes it make sense. When he has a really good dance partner, he can pull off something cool. But I don't think he's as original maybe as he could be. And look, he's on a journey. That's another thing too. He's still very early in his career.
Yeah.
But the potential you can always see in any talent throughout any era. And I think as time progresses, we're going to see who he really becomes. But yeah, I think he should try to think outside the box. Maybe be a little bit more original. Who knows? Who knows what could happen?
Yeah.
Whether that's in AEW, it's going to be a while from now. I'll tell you that. I think he signed a new deal worth like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I mean, he also got like a tattoo on his leg, an AEW tattoo on his leg.
Well, he has tattoos, I think, of every company that like, is important to him. Like, he has a tattoo of Creative Pro.
Really?
Yeah, the company that trained him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I've seen him. Like, I've been at shows that he's worked out and stuff.
Yeah.
And he like he's cool with the boys. He's decent with everybody else. He, like I said, I see how he could rub people the wrong way.
I think fans just aren't used to like, oh, he's in kayfabe 24/7. Isn't that cool? I was like,
yeah. And then the thing with fans, like, they never understand that they're getting worked. They get mad at getting worked.
oh yeah.
And they're like, no, this is stupid. And it's like, you're getting worked, dude. They want you to think it's stupid because they want you to come back. Because we all know that rage sells. Rage sells. You know what I mean?
All right,
sells.
let's get some people angry by doing some like clickbait. Whoever you like sucks.
Oh man. Anybody you like Hootie and the Blowfish, you suck.
Well, there are lions and there are lions. But back to this movie. We are reviewing The Iron Claw. If you somehow are still here, let's see. It's crazy. Like, I was thinking, like, this is like the 3rd or 4th movie I've seen recently where they're like, "Hey, wrestling, let's try to make this Oscar bait."
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to call it now. I think it's going to be Pedro Pascal when he plays Eddie Guerrero.
That's going to be the first wrestling Oscar.
It's going to be the first wrestling Oscar.
You think it's going to work out, or just going to CGI muscles on him?
Nah, he's going to work out. He's going to get into it. He's going to do the little dance. You know, he's gonna get all into it. Watch.
Now that he's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Dude, he'll get on the gas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he might have to pump some
He's
iron.
definitely gonna have to get on the gas. He's definitely gonna have to get some kind of gimmick in him, and he's gonna have to get real fucking huge, and he could deliver it. He could deliver it. But yeah, I think with this film, they were certainly trying to go for an Oscar. They were certainly trying to get a lot of recognition with the kind of actors they had in it too.
Yeah.
You know, because look, physically they might have not looked the part, but those guys, acting wise, have the depth to be able to portray what those characters have been through. And I gotta say, Zac Efron was really, really good in it.
Yeah, like his eyes.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I was thinking, like, some actors, like, so I guess they try to play Kevin as not the brightest, but like I don't know, something in his eyes when he was like this, like I'm like, that's an actor.
Yeah.
Actually, I know you said the Ric Flair casting was terrible, and
Did you hate Harley?
it's funny to me. Harley came and went. I was like,
Harley was okay for what he was. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't in the movie long.
Yeah, that one.
He was okay. He talked the shit like Harley. You know what I mean? He looked the fucking part. You know?
Yeah, it was funny. Like was it Harley or Flair? Yeah, I think it was during the Flair match, because like obviously this movie is like, oh, wrestling is scripted or whatever.
Right.
But I think in the Flair match they try to make it seem like it was a shoot disqualification.
Yeah. They were trying to sell that, but obviously,
I was confused.
Obviously, at the end of the match, you see Flair talking with them and everything, and I think they were like celebrating or something. I mean, one of the things.
He invited Flair Flair invited him for a beer, and the father's like, no.
Well, Flair would do that, right? Flair would like go to territories, and he would let other guys beat him. And then, they would make up some bullshit that it was like not a recognized match by the NWA or this or that.
Oh, yeah, at one point he got disqualified. He should have been disqualified, so,
yeah. And he told me this shit when I met Ric Flair. I hung out with him for 3 hours once at a bar, right?
Yeah.
And we chilled and we talked. And Rick, I might have mentioned it on this show, I don't know. But me and Rick, we talked about this shit. And Rick told me about how him and Roddy Piper went to DR and they got offered $10,000 each. And it was like, everything was going to be taken care of. And they get over there and they're getting pelted with shit when they get off the plane. They go and they work the Dominican champ. And the place was like, it was
They're
crazy.
making a movie about him.
Who, Ric Flair?
No, the Dominican champion.
The Dominican champion?
I'm going to butcher his name. It's like Jack Verano, maybe?
Jack Verano?
Something like that. I'm butchering the name.
Are you serious?
But a Dominican champion's getting his own movie.
What? Wow.
I think seeing that article is what made me realize, like, are they just... Someone's gonna try to make a wrestling movie and try to win an Oscar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Flair said he would do that shit. He'd go places and he would like, let them win and then, say some other shit.
Yeah, because you're a big hero in their hometown. There's no TV or internet back then, so it didn't matter.
But he would do it with certain people. He did it in DR because he feared for his life. I think he did it, with Erich because, well, what was it? It ended in DQ, right? Yeah, that's right.
Flair won by DQ.
That's right. Yeah, so I mean, he would do shit like that, Flair. He would go and he would work different types of matches and, call different types of shit to be able to make it out alive because he had a lot of heat.
Yeah. I thought the Fritz von Erich casting was great.
Yeah.
The actor that played Fritz.
Yeah.
At one point, I'm just like,
I love that opening scene, man. That opening scene is so cool. They captured that old school, like 1950s wrestling vibe,
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, I don't know, like, if this was a bigger budget movie, I was like, that's not Fritz. That's like a CGI clone that they do nowadays in movies. Yeah, man. Just the lighting, everything was like that 50s, 60s style wrestling, everything about him, the way he moved, like, yeah, he was really good, man. And then just the way he was, man, I thought he was awesome. Yeah, he was a great actor. They also did the same thing when they recreated like the ESPN 80 shows.
Yeah,
that also felt like just like
very realistic.
I'm just like,
yeah,
like, all right, maybe they do deserve that. I think everybody deserves.
But then they dropped the fucking ball with Ric Flair. They dropped the fucking ball with Ric Flair.
They dropped the ball with Ric Flair and MJF.
Yeah. Well, I mean, MJF, they could have at least explained it.
That's what I'm saying.
Give
him 30 seconds. Be like,
give the kid a little exposure.
Hey, I know. Hey, David, I know you can never wrestle, so don't worry about it. Pressure's off. I got this guy to take your place, and then that's it. Yeah. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, but I think all in all, it's a good flick. It's a good watch. If you're watching it not as a wrestling fan, I think it's easy to get into it and easy to watch it. Kind of like The Wrestler. I still say The Wrestler is maybe a better movie. You know, I would give The Wrestler the edge over this.
Because The Wrestler was filmed in New Jersey, baby.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people, like my trainer's in it, Andrew Anderson, the guy who trained me, is in it. Yeah.
Andrew trained you?
Yeah, Andrew Anderson trained me. And Dave Greco, shoot style Dave Greco. Shout out Dave Greco. Now fuck you, Dave Greco. But yeah, man, Andrew Anderson. Shout out to Drew. Drew is great. Drew taught us old school shit, fundamentals, basic stuff, and yeah, Drew's in that flick. Drew's still around, man. Drew's been around the Indies for a very, very long time, man, and you know, Drew knows how to do his business, and yeah, he actually introduced me to Kevin Sullivan. I got a chance to meet Kevin Sullivan.
Oh yeah,
R.I.P. Yeah, and I met Scott Hall. That was like right before Scott Hall passed. I think it was like one of his last, like in this area before he passed.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and I never go to those things. I hate going to wrestling fucking
like conventions.
Yeah, it's fucking dork central. You know what I mean? And I only went
fucking belt events
because I was like, yo, like a buddy of mine had an extra ticket. We were hanging out anyway.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it. So, and I got to meet Scott Hall and I take a picture with him. That was super fucking cool. You know? So yeah, and Kevin Sullivan, I actually got an autographed picture of him. I got an autographed picture of Kevin Sullivan as well.
There's no date yet, but we're doing a Scott Hall movie soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well, it's not really a Scott Hall movie. It's a movie he's in.
Okay.
I'm gonna butcher the title because I'm a little in the zone. Money Hustlers, Dirty Money Hustlers.
Oh, the ICP movie.
Yeah.
Big Money Hustlers or something
Some
like
shit
that.
like that.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Big Money Hustlers or some kind of thing. I don't know. Whoever's watching this, put it in the comments, man.
Yeah. I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, I'm very casual with the Texas territory. How accurate was the time frame in this movie? Because I felt like it wasn't at one point. Because I felt like Kerry's injury, his IC title, and like all that stuff, I didn't feel like any of that was in order.
I mean, they pretty much captured the 80s and pretty much like the early 90s. You know what I mean? Like they captured like that time frame.
No, but I'm saying like when it carries, this is when you should do research, but instead of doing research, I asked my expat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go to the best of my memory. I mean, because I also wasn't alive back then, and I've only watched it back since then and read up on it. But
I'm trying to figure out, when was Kerry's bike accident? Like, was that before WWE or after WWE?
I think he was in the company. I think he might have been in the company.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think he might have been in the company if I recall. You know. Yeah.
So I feel like he won.
I should have done my research.
Yeah, we should all do our research.
Do your research.
The people who always say that, whenever you show them research, that's not real.
Yeah.
That's do your research. I'm like, oh well, here's the peer-reviewed research if you want to read it. Like, no, that's fake.
No, let me tell you something. Tom Hanks is drinking adrenochrome right now, okay? And the baby that he's drinking the adrenochrome in front of it contains a stick that has information that pertains to Hunter Biden's laptop. And if you take that laptop and you open it up, you can also find out where the location of the first couch that JD Vance fucked is at.
And trust us,
So
it's not this
me.
one.
Do your research, bro. It's not this couch. This couch ain't getting fucked.
This couch ain't getting fucked
Tonight. But yeah, no,
if we made t-shirts, that would be the t-shirt.
it's always super rich, you know, when you hear people say do your research. But I should have done my research tonight.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, because in the movie, it seemed like the bike accident happened before the IC title run.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I'm wrong, I'm sure some guy's gonna be typing you.
I mean, I think he was, you know, I think he was in the E when it happened.
The thing is,
I mean, we could cheat real quick, right?
I mean, if you have your mobile.
My mobile.
Paused.
Kerry Von Erich in the WWF when he had his motorcycle accident?
And the thing is,
Mr. McMahon's wheelchair accident. How serious was Bob Dylan's motorcycle accident?
I guess when was Kerry's? Yeah, because like it's
When
funny.
was Kerry Von Erich's motorcycle accident?
It's funny. I listened to some podcasts and.
According
Oh,
to
okay, so it did
Wikipedia,
happen
the
before.
free
Yeah, it
encyclopedia,
happened
wow.
On June 4th, 1986, Kerry was in a motorcycle accident that nearly ended his life. He suffered a dislocated hip and a badly injured right leg. Doctors were unable to save his right foot, eventually amputating it.
All right, I was wrong.
Yeah.
So we'll just make it graphic. Once again, Diego's
When was
wrong.
Kerry Von Erich's WWF debut?
Oh, that's like 89.
July
Oh, 90.
28th, 1990. According to WWE Wiki, fandom, in mid-1990, he signed
That's when
a
he became a
contract.
tornado from Texas.
Wow, so he won the IC title only like about a month later.
Yeah, he won it quickly, man.
Cause he won it at SummerSlam.
I mean, dude, you know, he fucking looked like $1 million, and back then, the kind of look that those guys had, you could see it. You know, you could definitely see it. It's a shame what happened to him, man. You know, I mean,
pretty much all of them.
Yeah, all of them, pretty much. Yeah, the whole family.
Yeah, like the one thing I will once again to compliment this movie is that David, because David was the non-wrestler, right?
Was David the musician? No, I think David was the one that died. That won the NWA title. That he died in Japan, I think, in his hotel room.
Shit. All right, so that's more. I should.
Shit.
But yeah. So,
What did we do?
yeah. So
What
like
did
there's
we
like I said,
do?
there's podcasts I listen to, and like when they get information wrong, I'm like, you're the expert, and how do you not remember? Like I listen to like an old WCW podcast, and I'm like, how do you not remember the Thunder match from 1999 with Wrath versus?
How didn't you know
Viano
that, man?
8.
Fritz Von Erich. Fritz. David died from enteritis. Yeah, he was the one that died in '84.
Mike.
Age 25. Mike, Chris, Carrie, all died by suicide. Yeah, respectively in 1987 at age 23, 1997, and age 33 and 93. Damn. Kevin Fritz is last. Okay, yeah.
So, but yeah, the brother that was the musician,
Yeah.
like since he wasn't a wrestler, I literally knew nothing about him. You know, they always they always made him out to be like the dumb fat guy who couldn't whatever. This movie, you know, they fleshed him out as a human being and a character.
Yeah.
So, you know, even when I knew it was gonna happen eventually, it was still pretty fucking sad.
It was awful, man. And I think the message they were trying to drive home with this movie was that Fritz went too far. Like Fritz took it too far with his boys, and the mom.
I was saying the mom. I feel like
Didn't-
she might be like the low key like Fritz is like the like Erich, like in the movie Unbreakable when they mentioned like every superhero has the two villains, the muscle and the brain. I feel like Fritz was like the evil muscle.
Yeah.
And I feel like the mom was like her lack of doing nothing.
Yeah, her total apathy to everything. It was just like, what the fuck?
So I'm wondering how accurate was that?
And they had good kids. Like they had good kids. Like they had nice kids, you know. And yeah, I think the mom was definitely awful.
Like I know in the movie she was awful, but I'm just saying like I wonder like how true to life was that. So that's the thing
That's
that's the thing that Kevin who is still with us, and his sons are the Ring of Honor as of recording. His sons are the current Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions.
Oh wow, are we gonna get them against the Rhodes?
Their partner is Dustin Rhodes.
No, but the Rhodes, the two kids, the two boys that they're a tag team now, the Rhodes tag team, that they're like the next generation of Rhodes. They're like young kids that are getting started out. Yeah.
What do you mean Rhodes?
Like they're related to Dustin and Cody and all them. Like I think they're either Dustin's grandkids or some shit like that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, or some shit, but they're related to the Rhodes family, and these dudes are getting started. No, I think they're Cody's sister's kids. Yeah, dude.
They're probably like, WWE's hiring anybody with that last name. Anybody with Samoan blood?
Yeah,
Boom.
yeah.
But
man.
Dustin and the Von Erichs are the tag team champions.
That's crazy. Oh, the 6-man tag champs. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, man, legacies are great. You know what I mean? I didn't think that we would ever get to see, and even being associated with a legacy is great. Like, look at the Gorillas of Destiny.
That's what I'm saying. They're
You
not
know?
even.
Yeah, like they're related to Haku.
They're like, you know what?
You know?
All those islands are the same.
Yeah, but they got this island thing going on, and it's interesting, and it's cool. You know, these guys are getting jobs, man. But people like the legacy shit. You know, Mike Von Erich. That was sad. Yeah, that was fucking sad.
Yeah, he was the brother
Yeah.
that like we didn't know much about in real life because of, you know, because I read about. Sorry to cut you off. I read about the Von Erichs who like PW Insider and like those kind of like after mags.
Yeah,
So
the
like,
good old days of wrestling.
so obviously since he didn't wrestle, they didn't really cover him too much. It was just like a blurb, like it's fucked up. It's like he's like a sentence or a number, and then you just look up the bibliography. Oh, the third Von Erich brother that took his life.
It's awful, man.
But yeah, I'm glad this movie gave him time to shine. Zac Efron, I thought was really good in the role. Like I said,
Yeah, man, he was fantastic, man. I thought he really was driving the movie. Him and the father, I thought were great, and Lip was good too in it, you know. But it was. I mean, I think he was good at capturing the sadness in Kerry Von Erich's life, you know, in his mind, and how he couldn't, you know, be the best that he could be in the Olympic thing and everything else, you know.
yeah.
But you know, Zac Efron, I think, really was the best. And then that end scene, you know, when he's crying with his boys.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That to me when I saw that, I was like Oscar bait.
Yeah, man.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, man. It was
That
powerful. You know?
Yeah, the thing is, it's funny. Like A24, like every time I see anything with their logo on it, I always know like no matter how much I like the movie, the ending's always gonna fucking make me go.
Yeah.
And this one was the brothers in the afterlife on the. And I'm just like I don't know what they're going for.
I felt like they should have played Crossroads by Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah, like what are we doing here? Like that's like cut that scene out and put in MJF. Make that will be the Diego WCC cut.
Just make more room for MJF.
Make more room for MJF.
Get rid of that happy boat ride thing.
Oh, and here's our brother that he died when he was 12. Like, damn, that's fucked up. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was so weird.
Like, what are you guys gonna go do? You know?
Like,
yeah. I mean, it was like I said, it was a good flick for what it was. I would say, you know,
I feel like it's very haunting. Like so that was a movie. Like when it was finished, I was like thinking about it, like the next day. I was like, man, like I felt like I was part of that world for like the way they shot it, the music, everything. Like I'm a huge mark for tracking shots.
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever I make my short films or whatever that one day see the light of day, I try to do as many tracking shots as possible because I'm like Goodfellas has a good one where I think it's the opening scene where they follow like they go to like the restaurant and they're like following like that. Boogie Nights has a good one. This one when they go through the whole sportatorium, was it through Rush? Like the whole sportatorium, boom, getting the tickets, the tailgating, doing all of that. I'm like, that's fucking great.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job capturing that world, you know, and capturing how big wrestling was back then and how big wrestling was in Texas and, how big it was in Dallas at that time. But yeah, it was a good flick. Would I say it's better than The Wrestler? Nah, I don't think so. I think The Wrestler's better. Shit, I might even say Ready to Rumble's better than this.
No, I'll never go. Whatever you guys put in this drink. What do you guys put in this drink?
That one always gets a pop. You know, Ready to Rumble. That would always get everybody's like, "Argh!"
Yeah, we've been getting requests.
Massive heat, bro.
We've been getting requests to do that movie, and I've been avoiding it my whole life. I've never seen it.
That should be the one movie you don't do. You know.
But we've actually been getting requests to do it, so maybe we'll do it. You know.
Yeah.
But the meet cute between Kevin and Pam was like a woman taking initiative and her like, your parents don't ask you questions, and I'm like, fuck, I used to be guilty of that too.
Yeah.
So that was one part, and then like having Kevin mansplain wrestling to her,
Yeah.
I think that's how I'm gonna do it from now on.
Yeah, that's exactly how you should do it. You know what I mean? You know, my wife, you know, she used to say that it's like a drag show. It's like a male drag show. That, you know, it's like what guys like. She just said it's not as hetero as we think. You know what I mean? She said it's pretty gay. So, you know, she was right about that.
I mean, speaking of drags, when they have this dance where they kind of spin and do like a back bump on the floor, but with a knee, and I'm just like, I'm obviously gonna post a video if it's one of these screens, because one day I'll point in the right one. One day I'll point.
That's right.
Probably the side screen.
Side screen.
Probably that one.
You got to get picture in picture on here.
No, we do. Like it's just on the side.
Yeah.
But like they do this. They do a bump. Like it's like a spin, and they literally do a back bump. But it's obviously when we do the back, like this one leg stays, and the rest, you know, bumps, and then the leg that stays kind of just like does a weird knee thing. And every time I see them do that, I'm like, is that safe? And way to sell the bump, because they do not. So, so are we slowly developing into a drag show instead of wrestling? Because last week we spent way too much time talking about Two Blonde Food. Thank you for everything, Julie Newmar.
What a title! That's like "Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood."
Man, we had a lot of time in the '90s.
Yeah, there's a lot of titles back then. I'm sitting like this because, you know, I follow Stoics pages, and they say you got to sit like this, right? Like this.
Whose pages?
Stoic pages. They got those Stoic pages, like wealth, whatever, money, this, and it's a joke.
No, I was supposed to say, like, I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the '90s were way more nihilistic than we give it credit for.
Yeah, the '90s were awesome. I mean, they were cool, you know. They were cool, you know. And I think it was because it was carefree. You know, it was fucking carefree. I mean, now we all got a lot of cares, and but you know, that happens.
But I think being that carefree is the reason why we were like, to be honest with you, I think we were really nihilistic.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the shit we watched was very nihilistic. You know, Natural Born Killers, like that's one movie that you're like, yo, insane.
Quentin Tarantino hates that movie.
Hates it, can't stand it.
I don't blame him.
Oliver Stone, bro. You know, he's got a magic touch, I guess, for lack thereof.
Chavo Guerrero was credited as the wrestling choreographer, and I feel like he's like Hollywood's wrestling choreographer. When you see like a movie with wrestling in it, like he always has like his mitts in it, and I always felt like Chavo was very underrated.
Yeah, no, man, Chavo was a really good worker. You know what I mean? Dude, he used to be able to hang with Eddie and Benoit, Malenko, and all those guys, and, you know, Jericho, Rey Mysterio. I mean, so, you know, Chavo could definitely hold his own. Chavo's really, really good. I mean, Chavo grew up in the business. He understands wrestling, and, you know, what better guy to help you do this? You know, I mean, he got Zac Efron to the point where, like, he could work like a 5-minute match. You know what I mean? And that's excellent to be able to take an actor, you know, that couldn't even do that and get them to that point. That's pretty impressive. And I
think he did that with the TV
Glow,
show Glow,
yeah.
and like other projects. Like,
I actually a long time ago, not in a galaxy far, far away, I met a lady by the name of Shakira Barrera through a friend of mine named Little Baby Alfonso, and Little Baby Alfonso introduced me to her. And Shakira Barrera had told me that Chavo Guerrero had trained all the girls, you know, and had put them through the paces, taught them how to roll, taught them how to back bump, taught them how to do everything enough to be able to work the matches. So, yeah, it was kind of cool to hear that from her. She played Junk Chain.
Okay, I'm like asking, I'm thinking, who is that?
Yeah, Junk Chain.
I love that. They said we're definitely doing Glow soon.
Yeah, Glow is excellent. Mark Maron's in it. He's great. And just the entire cast, the way the show was done, I thought was great. You know, I mean, it captured the wrestling in a way that was good, and it was very character driven. And I think we deserve one more season.
Yeah, we should like write over at writing campaign. So after we're done with Zac Efron trilogy, starting next week is Joshi Appreciation Month.
Oh yeah.
So like, you know, if we're gonna start it off with a bang, Lucy and I are reviewing Gaia Girls.
Nice.
That documentary. because I think she's been kind of thinking about being a worker. So I was like, here, watch a video about wrestling training.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. Rich and I are doing an anime called Wannabes, which is a anime about women's wrestling. Osama and I are doing a exploitation film, to be polite, called Beauty Wrestlers Down for the Count, which is a Skinamax movie that takes place in the world of Joshi.
Nice.
And I'm asking you here on air if you want to do the final week, which is going to be the first 2 episodes, depending on how long the series is. If it's half hour,
sure,
it'll be 4 episodes. But if it's an hour, 2 episodes of Queen of Villains.
Yes, absolutely. I saw that. I saw the preview coming up for that on Netflix. It would be an honor to be able to review it here with you.
All right, shake on and make it official, brother.
Not like the MAGA powers.
And on that note, I think that's how we're gonna end our chat. Actually, final thoughts on the wrestler on the Iron Claw.
The Iron Claw. I thought it was a good flick. It's definitely something I would watch again. I didn't though, but it's definitely something I would watch.
Did you see it in the theater? Or you saw it on?
I saw it on HBO. I saw it on Max.
Yeah, Max. That's what I saw too.
I'm not paying for that. But yeah, no, man, it's a good flick. It's definitely in the upper echelon, I would say, of wrestling movies. Wrestling motion pictures. But the wrestler to me is still the shit.
Yeah.
I think it's still the best.
Yeah, and my final word is that's definitely it's the kind of what I liked about it is that it took wrestling seriously while still admitting it's a work.
Yeah.
Because I feel like most movies do one or the other.
Right.
If it's a work, it's a silly comedy.
Yeah.
Or if it's serious, he really has to beat Ric Flair in a shoot, brother.
Yeah, it's disrespectful, to treat it silly because, the men and women that dedicated their lives to the professional wrestling business deserve the credit for the work that they put in. It's not an easy thing to do, and going through the training, going through the paces, traveling around the world, wrestling in different places, it's not easy to do.
If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Correct. And not everybody can do it, as we've seen from a variety of different athletes that have tried to come into professional wrestling and haven't been able to make it.
And I've doing some wrestling training myself. I've seen way too many people. No, because I forgot that usually I do airplane mode.
Oh yeah. Okay.
New phone. Forgot to.
You thought you were for like fucking 10 seconds till self-destruction
Yeah,
or
I was
something.
like, what? The batteries aren't got to die. Fucking, it's a new phone, bro.
Yeah.
But alright, so on that happy note, see you guys next week and the freeze frame.